Is mindset just about positive thinking, or is there more than meets the eye? A lot of research recently and studies have shown that the effects of positive thinking and its effects on our lives, and how we have about 100 billion neurons that we can order, reorder, create, recreate, build and rebuild in new neurological networks to be able to harness the power of our mind. But mindset building does not stop there. You and I know that it's impossible to only think positive thoughts 24/7. And therefore the question is, how do we manage our positive and our negative thoughts to be able to really create our reality? People who have better control of their mind or better control of their thoughts and attention have better control of the circumstances and reality that they want to create, and therefore can design their reality or design their life. Sajni here, and today we are going to talk about how to transcend your thoughts, and how when you organically place a thought gains a momentum and ultimately manifests in your reality, and how when you get to this state of mind and when you place any thought, how it becomes powerful and supercharges and manifests in your reality. So stick around till the end of the video, because I'm going to give you 3 powerful keys that is going to help you do that. Before I begin, I'm super excited to announce that the 2 hour free masterclass for the group coaching and the one-on-one free consultation for the premium coaching is up for enrollment for the Mindset and Reality Revolution program. So stick around till the end of the video to get more announcement on that. So with that, let's get right into the video. So for most of us, what happens is that our thoughts dictate our lives. When our thoughts are good, we feel good. When our thoughts are low, we feel low. So this way, our internal world is riding in this order. So whenever our internal world, our thoughts are our internal world, and so when it's going up and down, and naturally our internal world is up and down, and our external actions also reflect the same. When we fall victim to our thoughts, or when our thoughts influence our actions, that naturally also reflects in reality. So for example, when you have a thought of checking your social media, you don't even realize that you are deep into mindless scrolling social media, right? So this is natural, and you don't know how many other ways your thoughts are influencing your actions, and how those are reflecting in your reality. So we fail to see through that it's all is happening from within, which is prompting you to take certain actions into your reality. So that may be serving you, and that may not. So mastering our thoughts and mastering our minds is really one of the most powerful things that I have learned in my entire journey, which has helped me do the things that I truly want, or take actions that I truly want to act upon. So that becomes a single potent thing to help you get to where you want to go, or achieve your goals, or attain the things that you want. Brain is an artifact of everything that has happened up to this point. So all the experiences, all the memories, good or bad. Now the incoming thoughts that we get are from these memories or experiences that we have had so far. So now these incoming thoughts may be serving us or not serving us. So most of the time these incoming thoughts are not serving us. So these are kind of like distractions on our way to achieving our goal. And consciously or unconsciously, we are controlled by these thoughts. So for example, if you have a thought to move from a job to starting your own business, so now all of the experiences that you have doing a job, those experiences come and those kind of haunt you here. Or you may feel not worthy, or not being able to cope with that, or not being able to be successful, etc., etc. So all these thoughts that are piled up here begins to come into your new reality. And therefore, if we do not consciously transcend that, or we do not consciously unconsciously accept that, consciously we will not accept it, right? But unconsciously we tend to do that. Therefore, it is very, very important to be conscious and aware. Every activity, every action that you take is coming from that consciousness, coming from that awareness, so that you're aware that this action that I'm taking, or this act that I'm doing, is going to serve me right, and is going to help me get to my goal faster. And that is the reason why our awareness, our consciousness is very, very powerful. And that's how it's going to help us transcend. These incoming thoughts have been going on in our heads for a long period of time, maybe 10, 15, 20, 30 years, who knows. right? These unconscious thoughts, we have unconsciously accepted it or surrendered to it, and we don't know. It's kind of controlling our actions, controlling our beliefs, controlling our thought process, controlling how we think about ourselves and how we think or how we view our external world or reality. So therefore, this has become a part of us. This has become a part of our identity, and therefore it becomes a huge problem when we get to set our goal. Our heart wants to get to a certain goal, but then our minds have been conditioned against it. And this is where the conflict happens, when between our hearts and our mind. And this is where we have the internal battle of having this low self-worth or low self-esteem. So our goal is here, we want to achieve this, but our minds are battling with us because we don't feel worthy, or we don't feel confident, or we don't feel that is possible. So now that brings me to the concept of emptying your mind, the ancient heritage principles, or the Zen Buddhism, the practice of emptying the mind. Because how potent would one single thought be if you could empty your mind of completely all the distractions, all the destructive patterns, or all the limiting beliefs. So if we learn the practice of removing all of these and just emptying your mind every single morning, renewed vitality or renewed vigor or renewed energy, like how you reboot your computer, right? How you do that, because you power it up. So similarly, our minds also need that, right? Because we fail to see that. We just completely overlook that. We completely overlook the fact that we do need a little bit of a time to silence our mind. So that is when we empty the mind, we start to see, and when we plant an organic thought, an outgoing thought that moves us to the direction of the goal, and how potent or powerful it becomes. So now, instead of moving to 1,000 different directions, a million different directions, and move an inch towards your goal, now here what you're doing is you're moving a vast area, a million inches, and towards a goal. So now this becomes powerful when you have a single organic thought or a single intent or a goal that you move towards with full speed ahead. And this becomes how you can bring that to your reality, by removing all the distractions. So now, when you start cultivating this mindset of mastering your attention, mastering your focus on one single item when you're doing at a time, what happens is that now your reticular activating system will start focusing on the goal or the intent that you have started putting on for yourself, rather than the distractions. Your reticular activating system will start working for you rather than against you. So let's be realistic here. Now we know that it is impossible for us to have a zero empty mind, right? We are not a spiritually enlightened sage, right? But what we can do is, at least even if we are able to get to a 51% of focus on one thing at a time, and even if it's 49% distraction, because in a day-to-day life we do have to live our lives, we do have to focus on certain things. But even if we are moving towards 51% of our focus on the things that we want, and even if we have minor distractions, we're still focusing towards our goal. As our realization becomes more that we have whatever we're focusing on destructive or constructive, so we want to focus on 51% constructive, and even if it's 49% destructive thoughts, now we want to slowly move up the ladder. You want to slowly get to a 70-30%, and then 80-20%. So that is how we can start churning our focus more and more and more on a goal, and therefore we keep zooming on a goal. We need to learn the habit of renewing our mind or emptying our mind. That way, the more we are able to empty our mind, the more organic thought when we place it becomes more potent, more powerful, and more beautifully it can manifest. So that is the point that we want to do, which is the observing the mind, right? So I'll put the link up here. I've made a powerful 4-step exercise that I have made. You can have a look at that. So now let's get to how we can get to the 3 keys to get to have completely less distraction and more focus. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to be able to empty our mind. But basically what we're trying to do is, when we are observing our own thoughts, when we are emptying our minds, basically we are creating, number 2, we're creating a separation between our mind and between us, between the thinker and the thought. So when we are able to make that separation, then what happens is that here, for most of us, our mind is a superimposed self. And this is us, but our mind is a superimposed self. So we are closely aligned with our mind. Basically, we are closely attached to our mind. So when this happens, whatever thoughts or impulses come, we move with the thoughts, up and down, happy, sad, excited, low. So whatever emotions or thoughts are coming, we ride along with it when we have a superimposed mind. So therefore, our endeavor is to get to a point where we are able to separate the mind from the thinker. Okay. So one of the books, which is Who Am I, he talks about the self-inquiry, which is who am I, right? So when we get to that self-realization, because even if we are consciously think of the fact that this is me and this is my mind, this is my thought, till the time we don't consciously realize it, it's not going to work. So therefore, it is important to get through that exercise that we've talked about in this video that I've placed here, so you can have a look at that. So then now what begins to happen is when you start to separate your mind from you, now you can slowly continue to eliminate the destructive or the distractive thoughts and only focus on the constructive thoughts, and therefore you can zero down more and more, and your reticular activity system will start to zero down on your goal, and therefore the manifestation power becomes more powerful. Ramana Maharshi, the step number 3 is when you now have put any organic thought or have clarity of your goal, of this is what I want to attain, now it will become much more powerful and you are able to manifest it much more quickly and much more effortlessly than you would if you had all jumbled up thoughts, and you're riding one day you're excited, the next day you drop down. So the actions will not be inconsistent. You will continue to elevate, and whatever distractions even appear or the negative thoughts or emotions do appear, you know that those are just distractions. They are not part of your identity. Now you operate from a place where you're completely separate from the thoughts and emotions and the distractions, and you're able to remove them without remorse. I sincerely hope this was helpful. So let's do a quick recap of what we've discussed so far. So today we have discussed about the fact that transcending thoughts basically means you are maximizing or boosting your power of manifestation. If you reach the state of mind where you have completely less distractions than you would have normally, then whatever thoughts, organic thoughts you place on, that gains a powerful momentum and manifests faster. So whatever incoming thoughts and outgoing thoughts that you have is basically the experiences or the memory that you have. Incoming thoughts come from there. So our job is not to identify with those thoughts and emotions, but to disidentify from them. So what happens when we do that is we are able to let pass the distractions and only work on or act on the things that we want to act on, which helps us propel us towards the goal and not let us move backwards. So that is the point that we want to get to. And also by disidentifying from the mind, what happens is that we don't become unconsciously a slave to our thoughts or slave to our emotions or slave to our unconscious beliefs or destructive beliefs, which binds us and pulls us down on our path to our goal. Also we discussed that 10 different directions if you move our mind, then what happens, we only are able to move an inch, because our potential of moving forward faster with a laser focus becomes hindered. Now, but instead, if we have one potent thought or one potent vision or intent that we put on and move with laser focus, then we're able to move much more powerfully. Even if we begin with that, and then the direction starts to multiply. Nerve cells that fire together, wire together. So now we strongly start to move towards that direction, because that is the only point that you need to get to. Once you move the compass towards that constructive thoughts, then the reticular activity system is activated now. Now you can powerfully move towards that goal faster. So this is where we begin, and naturally you will start to gain more and more momentum on your constructive thoughts. So the 3 keys that we discussed was 1, observe your mind, to observe your thoughts every morning or every evening. So when you do that, you are able to separate you from your mind, the observer from the thought. Why that will help is basically you do not become impulsive or superimposed by your mind and ride the waves of your good and bad thoughts or good and bad emotions, or the environment or situations will not decipher how you feel and think inside, but you are able to now separate from the mind, and whatever distractions or negative thoughts are coming, you are able to remove that as just distraction. You don't get identified with it, and therefore when you place an organic thought into it of your vision or your intent, now that will have the potential to manifest very, very fast and effortlessly. So I sincerely hope this was helpful. So if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and hit that little bell icon so that you'll be notified every time I put up a new video. And also I'm excited to announce that there is a new Facebook group, the TheBraingyMN VIP group that I've started with, and I invite all who are on a similar journey to grow your mind and manifestation principles, and also help with law of attraction, manifestation, reality creation, and all of this journey to learn, grow and share. So click the link below. I'm super excited to announce a 2-hour free masterclass for the Mindset and Reality Revolution program for the group coaching is open up for registration. And what the Mindset and Reality Revolution program really is it's one of the highest paradigm of manifestation. So there are 3 paradigms of manifestation, which is the having, the doing and the being. So if we get to the being state, or in quantum physics it's also called the identity shifting, because everything is in the state of being and becoming. So when we embody the state of beingness, then naturally the having and the doing falls into place. What I realized in my years of understanding and practicing and manifesting and studying neuroscience and quantum physics, what I understood was that it's never about the techniques, because technique is just the doing paradigm, or wanting to having paradigm, because the more you're wanting to have or want or get, the more you're stuck into that loop. The idea is to elevate into that awareness or that beingness state where things start to fall into place, your ideas start to come. Things start to manifest for you effortlessly, right? Because we learn the principles, or we learn to work with the laws of nature, where we go through the path of least resistance. We understand the universal principles of balancing, of being and doing, action and non-action, effort and surrender. So these are some of the powerful principles which we include in the program that can help you boost your manifestation, boost your awareness, boost your clarity, boost your productivity. So things start to open up for you. And so the Mindset and the Reality Revolution program is designed in such a way that it helps you to elevate to that state, ideal state, or the being state that you envision to become. And therefore you effortlessly attract the things that you want to do or have. I'm also super excited to announce that I started the one-to-one interaction for the premium coaching for the Mindset and Reality Revolution program. And so the enrollment link, I'll leave it in the description and in my Instagram bio. So both the links are there. So I can't wait to have an interaction with you and see how we can work together. So I hope to see you there, and thank you so much for watching. Until next time.